Welcome to the third session of our leadership development workshop. In this third session, we'll be looking at communication and emotional intelligence. Now, communication and emotional intelligence is the heart of every effective leadership, because this is what can make or mar your leadership. Now, strong leadership is built on the foundation of effective communication. A leader's ability to clearly express their idea, actively listen, and manage emotions directly influence the morale of the team, the productivity of the team, and the overall success of the project or the organization. And so, in this session, we are going to be looking at communication skills, developing emotional intelligence, and navigating difficult conversations. So, let's get to it. The power of effective communication in leadership. Like we have mentioned, communication is not just about speaking. It involves listening, understanding, and ensuring that messages are received as intended. Right? There is always a barrier in communication where the listener or the audience does not, does not understand or receive the message with the intention with which the message was sent. And as a leader, you cannot have team members who misunderstands you. Who does not understand, who does not receive your message with the intended meaning or messaging. Right? So let's look at some of the things that you may want to do to ensure that in the passage of your message, in your communication, that you are able to deliver your intentions clearly. Number one is being clear and concise. Avoid ambiguity and ensuring messages are easy to understand for people. Whatever it is you are saying, whatever grammar you are using, whatever English you are using, I always have that habit of repeating what I said in different terms. I say something using a particular phrase, I say it in another phrase, and then I say it in the third phrase, so that the person can understand all the perspective and all the corners of the instructions that I am giving or I'm dishing out, right? So you want to be clear, make your instructions clear, make your messaging as clear and as concise, straight to the point as possible. The next is using active listening. It is important to listen, paying attention to others' perspective, asking for clarity, for clarifying, so that you are able to know if the people you are talking to are even misunderstanding you. So you want to test their active listening by asking questions. If you are the person listening, you also ask questions, right? So that you can be sure that, okay, what the person is saying is what you are actually reading, that you are reading the person correctly, right? The next is adapting to the audience's communication style. When you are speaking to people, it's not just about your expression. It's not just about you expressing what you think and what you feel, but it is also about the person understanding what you are saying. So you want to understand what better strategy can you use, what is the person's communication style, and how can you adapt to the person's way of communication so that you can use languages, phrases that the person easily understands. The next is providing regular feedback, right? Offering constructive criticisms and recognizing achievement to encourage growth. It's important for you to ensure that when your people do well, you point it out. When they don't do well, you point it out. This is very, very critical. There is always need for you to have that open conversation with your people. It's not necessary. It's not needed for you to see your people make mistakes, deviate from your instructions, and then you keep quiet about it. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help the organization. It doesn't help the team member. It doesn't help anybody, right? So as a leader, you want to be able to come to that point where you're able to communicate real time with your people. As you see them doing well, you appreciate them. If they make a mistake, you come up and you point out their mistake constructively. Now, how do you improve your communication as a leader? Number one, be intentional about your words and tone to avoid misinterpretation. words and tones are the reasons why people will misunderstand you, are the very instruments that people could use to misunderstand or to misrepresent the information that you are providing. So it is important for you to be intentional about the tone that you are using and about the words that you're also using to avoid misinterpretation. The next is for you to encourage open and honest communication within your team. Let your people know that it is okay for them to tell you that you are wrong. Let your people know that it is okay for them to walk up to you and correct you, to walk up to you and tell you that they feel one thing is not proper or the other thing is not proper. You must give them that free space, that conducive environment for them to communicate. If you say something, let them feel free to come and ask you back and say, sir, this thing you said, is this what you mean? You have to create that environment for them. They shouldn't be intimidated every time you are talking to them, so that they don't even have the courage to come back to you when they are confused. Because that is what happen in many instances, right? That you give an instruction, the person did not clearly understand the instruction you have given, but because the environment, you have not created that friendly environment for the person to come up to you and question you, the person is afraid and then he keeps to himself and goes on to make a mistake, right? The next is to use storytelling, to make your message more relatable and impactful. You can use storytelling, especially when you are in a meeting or you are in a gathering and you want to address a particular thing, use storytelling. It will be an effective way to communicate, right? The next is regularly check for understanding by seeking feedback and clarifications. Ask them for feedback. You can ask somebody, tell me what did I just said now. Okay. You give an instruction, ask the person, okay, tell me what you've heard. Tell me what you understand by what I've said now. Getting this feedback will really go a long way to ensure that you're able to get clarifications. Now, let's talk about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the secret to leadership success, because it is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, while also being able to influence the emotions of others. Right? Emotional intelligence, commonly abbreviated as EQ. It's critical because you are going to be pissed off. Your team members, your followers, your fellow employees, whoever that is on that project, is going to make comments, is going to say things that is going to get to your nerves, and you may become tensed emotionally. You understand? And so you want to be able to come to that point where you are able to manage your own emotions. And emotional intelligence does not stop there, but it also goes far to you being able to influence the emotions of other people. If somebody is angry, how do you influence the person emotionally, to get better very quickly so that people can get back on the track? And that is what very, 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 very critical. Now, high emotional intelligence allow you as a leader to build strong relationship, handle stress effectively, and make better decisions. Now, here are the 5 key components of emotional intelligence that you need to consider. Number 1 is self-awareness. You need to recognize your own emotions and then how they can impact your decision, how they can impact your actions and decisions. You need to understand that your emotions can impact your decisions, right? So it becomes critical for you to have some level of emotional awareness, right? Then number 2 is self-regulation. You need to be able to manage your emotional reactions and stay composed even when you are under pressure. Then number 3 is motivation, staying driven by internal values rather than external rewards. As a person, you need to be able to stay internally motivated. You need to be able to be self-driven emotionally, right? That you can decide that, okay, I don't want to be angry today because there is a better objective to be achieved. There is a better goal that we are pursuing, right? The next is empathy. Empathy is having an understanding and considering the feelings of other people when making decisions. When you are talking to people, when you are criticizing people, when you are judging people, you need to understand that these people are emotional beings. They can be hurt. They have feelings. And so in doing so, no matter how bad the situation is, you want to make sure that you keep it friendly, you keep it humane, you keep it humble, you keep it simple, so that you don't end up hurting people's emotion. Then social skills, you need to learn some social skill, learning how to navigate relationship, how to resolve conflicts, and then how to foster teamwork, how to get people together to work together. Now, how do you develop emotional intelligence? Number one, practice self-reflection by joining your emotions, by joining your emotions and your reactions. It is important for you to practice self-reflection. Sit down, think about what you have done for the day, just before you sleep and all that. Think about the words you have used, the expressions you have used. Did they hurt the other person? And then you want to learn to pause before reacting in an emotionally charged situation. There are situations where the emotion is high, everybody is angry. It becomes for you to be able to pause. Allow time for the emotions, allow time for the anger to burn out, and then you can come back on your point. The next is show empathy by actively considering different perspectives. Be empathetic about the opinions of other people, especially when you are antagonizing their point. When you are going against their point, it is important for you to understand that telling somebody straight that the point he made is a foolish decision, is a foolish point, is enough to get somebody angry, right? Because that is tantamount to telling somebody that the person is foolish. So when you want to antagonize somebody with a point, you want to make a contra opinion, it is important for you to employ that empathy, knowing that the person you want to antagonize can feel that hurt, can become emotional about it. The next is to work on conflict resolution skills. There is need for you to learn some conflict resolution, by for example, you want to stay calm, and then you want to also stay objective even under intense discussions. Sometimes the discussions can get very, very intense, but then as a leader, it becomes on you to ensure that you don't lose the grip over your emotions. Now, let us talk about navigating difficult conversations with confidence. Like we've said in several settings, there is always going to be that time when the discussion is not going to be palatable, because it will not be palatable. You can employ every strategy that you want to employ, but the environment is still going to be charged, is still going to be tensed, right? So it is critical for you to be able to know how to navigate this, because every leader will be facing these challenging discussions, whether it is addressing poor performance of a staff, it is handling maybe conflict, or delivering tough news, right? Now, the key to managing this conversation effectively is preparation and emotional control. Now, let us look at how to handle this. Number one is to plan ahead. Define the purpose of the conversation and anticipate possible reactions. What is the news you're going to break out? You're going to criticize the staff, for poor performance. How is the person going to react? Anticipate it and then prepare for that reaction. Then stay calm and objective. Focus on fact rather than emotions. Don't go and talk out of emotions. Just stay on the fact. Even when you stay on the fact, the person is going to get emotional, but the person will even be more emotional, more angry when you start paddling the emotional games, right? So you want to stay on the fact. Then use the I statements, right? This is very, very important. Express concern without sounding accusatory. Make it your own view. I have noticed that instead of you always do this, you always do that, just say I have noticed that this always happens when you do this. When you make it personal to your observation, the person thinks that it is you is observing it that way, then the person later realizes that, okay, your observation is what correct, right? So always use the I statements. Then encourage dialogue. Don't just go and pass a judgment. Whatever it is that you are saying to correct the person, make it suggestive, and then allow the person to suggest, allow the person to talk. Let there be opportunity for the person to also want to justify what he has done, and also so that you people can discuss and then come to a conclusion. And the conclusion you want to come to is the fact that the person have made some mistakes, and the person needs to be able to admit to that particular mistake that he has made. And the next is end with the solution. Every conversation, every difficult conversation, no matter how tense it is, you have to make sure it ends with a solution. You understand? Work towards a constructive resolution rather than just pointing out the problems. Remember, we talked about analysis paralysis earlier, that you don't want to get stuck in analyzing. You want to move quickly to the solution. Now, in conclusion, communication and emotional intelligence are the heart of effective leadership. By refining these skills, by refining your emotional skills, your communication skills, you can become a stronger leader. You can build stronger relationship. You can inspire people more, and then you can create a positive work culture. Thank you very much for participating in this session. In the next session, we'll be exploring team building and motivation. Thank you very much. See you in the next session.
Hi there. Thank you for choosing to participate in our workshop. We're thrilled to have you on this learning journey with us. If you just came across this video online or on our channel, you can access all the workshop videos on our website at jomorc.com or on our YouTube channel at Jomo Mentorship. Looking to take your skills to the next level? Explore our wide range of in-depth courses at elearn.jomorc.com. Here's a glimpse of what we offer. Number 1, customer service essentials. Number 2, team building and management. Number 3, corporate profiling and job application. Number 4, personal and servant leadership. Number 5, human resource management. Number 6, communication and public speaking. Number 7, project management. Number 8, marketing and branding. And finally, number 9, counseling and conflict resolution. Whether you prefer learning remotely or at your own pace, we've got you covered with flexible and engaging learning experiences. Visit elearn.jomorc.com today and start building the future you deserve.